Hi, today we are at the office of Commissioner General of Drug Control and Enforcement Authority, Rogers Siyanga. We will have an interview on the war on drugs by the government. Hi, how are you? I'm good. So there has been a big declaration of war against drugs by the government, and I would like to ask you, what made it actually possible for the government to seriously gear up for the war on drugs?
What made the government go for the war against drugs in Tanzania? First of all, is that the president himself does not like the drug problem to persist in our communities, and has come with a strategy to try and reduce the effects of drugs in our community, having seen the drug addicts in the streets and the suffering that the people are undergoing. He came up with a strategy, first of all, to appoint the Commissioner General for the Drug Control and Enforcement Authority, which was a necessary requirement for this organization to come into effect. Now, having appointed the Commissioner General, he has also allowed the formation of the DCA structure, which authorizes, first of all, the collection of information to know the gravity of the situation, and then to have an operational wing, operational division, and then to have the harm reduction division, which would cater for the needs of the addicted people. Initially, we did not have all these departments within the Drug Control Commission, which was there before the DCA, but now that was seen as a lacuna, and they chose to fill those gaps that were existing in the Drug Control Commission by creating now an authority that would fight the drug problem in terms of supply, but also in terms of demand and harm.
Okay, so you have already mentioned like some of the strategies that are taken to prevent the drug abuse and drug trafficking in this country. Then could you also elaborate some of the obstacles that are facing in this fight against drug abuse and drug trafficking?
The obstacles that we are facing is, first of all, the strategies that we are adopting. For example, providing needles and syringes to the people, and then providing condoms to the people, providing other medically equipments for the people that are doing commercial sex, for example. There's a perception of many people, these are things that need to be clarified to them, that these are best strategies to fight the drug problem and HIV and hepatitis B and C. To the many think that actually providing needles and syringes is actually encouraging people to to abuse drugs. But actually, to us, we consider it to be a necessary strategy to fight not only the drug problem, but also the effects of the harmful effects of drug abuse and the related illnesses that are growing out of the drug behavior. So we need to fight the perception of people, to train them, to educate them. This is one of the biggest challenges that we need to face. But also, some of the law enforcement agencies do not understand this and do not accept it. We need also to provide education and training for the law enforcement agencies. And then there is the issue of corruption, where you arrest some of the drug dealers and you see a lot of corruption to try to help those people that are dealing in drugs. Instead of punishing them, you see them buying their justice by paying money and corrupting the judicial system. And this is really one of the hiccups of our fight against the drug problem. Then resources, when it's a new institution, it's only hardly 2 months. We still have many things that we do not have. We do not have the laboratory for our own testing of equipment and the training for our manpower. These are the challenges that we have. The vehicles for our employees to go out for work, monetary assistance. We really need a lot of assistance.
Yes, I can answer that. So you mentioned about the education to change the perception of people regarding the drug abuse and drug trafficking. So has there been any like specific practical education so far for this issue?
We have a division, the harm and treatment division. There's also the mandate of going out to train people, to educate people on the harm brought by the drug-related activities. Now, they are developing a kind of a curriculum for primary schools, secondary schools, and higher institutions of learning. And they need assistance really in the material that they'll be using for training, for educating people, and videos, cinemas, and educational tools really to help them do the work.
Yes.
We kind of look for these things to help them do the kind of work. So we have a division that will be dealing with the training and educating people. But again, they need some exposure, they need some material assistance, and some financial backing as well to go out to be able to reach different persons.
And about the treatment centers, the rehabilitation centers that you have mentioned about. So there are already currently the rehabilitation centers. But also there are going to be more to be established, right? So what can we actually expect from these centers? Especially like the young people, young generation, ordinary people.
For now, we have 3 rehabilitation centers and treatment centers, that is Manimala, Muhimbili, and Temeke. But we're in the process of scaling it up to Dodoma, and then Mwanza, and then Mbeya. These 3 provinces are to be operational before September. This is our objective, that by September, these 3 centers, that is Mbeya, Dodoma, and Mwanza, to be operational. And when we succeed, because these 3 centers they have this infrastructure for scaling up. They have the facility, building, personnel, and the willingness of the provincial leadership to support the scale-up program. Now that we have been able to secure methadone for these 3 provinces, we think that we shall be able to scale up from these 3 Dar es Salaam rehabilitation centers to have 6, that is 3 in Dar es Salaam, and then Mbeya, Dodoma, and Mbeya, and Mwanza at the end of the day, because they have the necessary infrastructure and the people are ready for the scale-up program. But later on, then we are planning to have more centers in Pwani, and then we shall have it in Morogoro, Tanga, and then Kilimanjaro and Arusha. Total of, so it's 3 plus 5, 8 provinces, and also Dar es Salaam. We are planning really to have more centers for rehabilitation. But this also requires the planning for the procurement of methadone and the training of the personnel, preparing the infrastructure for places whereby we can have centers for rehabilitation, beginning exercise.
Okay, so what would be your message towards the public on the drug abuse and drug trafficking? especially again for the younger generation, the youth, and also the women specifically, because I read about how women are exposed to a lot of drug use, and also like they are very vulnerable to like STDs and so yeah.
Any message for women and young people? For women, the drug dealers here in Tanzania are targeting women because women have been considered by the drug traffickers as best couriers in carrying out drugs, because a pregnant woman can have the pregnancy of weight of a fetus maybe 3-4 kilograms. So she can carry much more than a man. So they are targeting them because they can carry much more than a man can do. So potentially they consider them to be much more lucrative. If I send a woman, she can carry 3 kilograms, while a man can carry only 1 kilogram. So they're being targeted. That's one. But secondly, that I think women should abstain from being recruited to carry drugs because they affect their families, their children, and expose them to diseases and life-threatening activities that can kill them. But for all the younger people, let them look for some activities to do, because when you remain idle for too long, you become culpable to be recruited to do illegal activities. So let them look for something to occupy them instead of staying idle and become culpable to become recruited to do these activities. For women, those who are doing commercial sex, we are planning to have drop-in centers whereby we shall supply these drop-in centers with necessary gadgets for those who are doing commercial sex. We appeal to them or urge them to abstain, but if you cannot abstain from doing that, at least visit these commercial centers, these drop-in centers, whereby you can get necessary gears for one to use while doing these commercial activities in a safer way. And abstain from using injection, particularly by way of injecting themselves. Avoid drug abuse by way of injecting themselves. We plead and request them to abstain and then to come to our authority for discussion, but also for looking for ways to assist them, look for activities to do in the course of occupying themselves, like things like occupational therapy. We are targeting to have small projects for the people that have been affected, addicts, for the addicts. For example, brick making activities, opening up small restaurants for them to run, and then if God wishes, I think we shall be able to have life insurances for them, and health insurances for the people that have been addicted to drugs. These are what we're going to do. It all depends on if we shall be able to afford to provide them with these services. These really are our objectives in the future.
And also it can be the message for the women and also the younger generation, the youth, this nation. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your opinions and your ideas here. Thank you so much for cooperating.